Welcome back, everyone. Going into the second half here of the old drop frames. Zeke, we went to break because we didn't have much to say on that. Did you want to add anything to the Twitch verification chatter?
No, I'm just glad they're making steps.
Yeah.
They're taking steps. Did we discuss whether it's going to be effective? Like, because I know I brought up a few ideas and they just got like holes punched in them by various people, but mostly Barry.
Yeah, well, I mean, Barry said the same thing yesterday.
That's not going to work. That's not going to work.
He said the same thing about this yesterday. Like, it's more hurdles, right? So it's creating more of a feedback wall for people that want to seek out and do these acts on Twitch, but ultimately it's not going to necessarily stop them. But more hurdles is always a great thing to put in between, the streamer and the hate rate. So, yeah. But ultimately, you can get through that stuff via bots and whatnot. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. So, let's talk about video games. We haven't done that in a while. Rami, you want to just talk about Destiny for the next hour and 10 minutes? Because I've been playing way too much of it off stream. That's all I play.
Yes, sure. I'm in. No,
the latest and greatest Destiny, the hottest game on the market.
I would 100% talk for literal hours about Destiny. I've actually played a lot of different games as well.
Great. Let's talk about those. People don't want to hear about Destiny. What have you been playing, Rami? What's been going on?
No. Just real quick. I'm gonna set a timer right now. You got 5 minutes. Destiny, go.
Rami?
I
live on the show.
So great right now. This is Destiny's in the best space.
I would agree.
Spot it's been in a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
Pretty much everything. I think I'm higher light level than you. I got the Aegir's Scepter Catalyst last night. I'm up to like 330 eye level or 325. I did the Vault of Glass raid. I didn't get any good drops last week. Okay. Yeah, I've kind of just grinded everything. I did trials. I got 7 wins in trials, and that was a big mistake. I don't know why I even wasted my time with that. That was just
600 hours of gameplay.
I had to take like 10 showers after that fucking sweat fest because that was Did
you do any of the dungeons?
Well, we did Prophecy, and we did Vision, or we did Presage or whatever as well together.
Presage, yeah.
I did like strikes and all that stuff. Yeah.
Can you explain?
We should do the other 2 dungeons as well.
Yeah.
Can you explain why it was a sweat fest? What do you mean by that?
Trials is essentially if you like took the hardcore of the hardcore PvP and then threw them into a playlist and then said like, hey, go be hardcore. And that's what Trials is.
Right.
Okay.
It's basically it's a time mode that you can only play over like weekends where you get limited access to sweaty PvP.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite thing about Destiny. Lots of people love it. But honestly, like the state Destiny is in right now. Zeke, how much time do I
have? 3:30. 3 minutes 30 seconds.
Fine. The story is whatever. Somebody asking, can you join Destiny right now? No. That's not how it works. Destiny is the kind of game that keeps going. There's never a good time to start because you're always coming in with all the stuff you haven't seen yet behind you.
Correct.
If you're expecting to join this like a different type of video game where you just join in and you get the start of the story and you follow the story from the start and then you catch up, that's not how it works. Like, you come into Destiny and the story is going, the world is going, everything is going, and you're dropping in and catching up, and you won't understand stuff at the start, and that's part of Destiny.
Yeah.
But every moment of playing Destiny, I find a joy. It's the most joy I have in video games. Like, great weapons, good times with friends, incredible encounter design, beautiful, sounds beautiful, story is great. Ways to play together, ways to play against each other. I love Destiny. Like, deeply respect that studio for doing what they do. It's a great game.
You can turn your brain off very easy. It's been my go-to turn my brain off game for the past 2 weeks, or a week and a half or something like that. I don't know, which has been greatly needed.
I want to take you through the Deepstone Crypt raid. I think you will love that one.
I've been through that. I've done that. I did that when it released.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Actually, Dodger's husband regrettably made it so we didn't get that in the first 24 hours. So I still have that chip on my shoulder. I'm sure he tells a different tale, but you know, it is what it is.
Is that AFK shit you were complaining about on Twitter?
I don't think so. I don't know what.
Okay.
I don't know what that was.
You said people who go AFK during some Destiny jargon.
Oh no,
step on a Lego.
So that was there's a seasonal event in Destiny. There's always seasonal events, but essentially, like, you can go into that and just like move your controller every once in a while and fuck off, and you'll still get rewards for doing it. And so that's what people ultimately do. They just like do nothing and then get all the rewards for it.
Dude, that reminds me of a time when my friend, Man vs. Game, during WoW, his WoW years, had an oscillating fan with a pencil taped to it. And he would leave his keyboard, and the pencil would hit the jump button. He would hit the jump button. So he was counted as being in the PvP arena.
You know that when we design AFKs, when we design AFK systems, we have to think about this sort of shit. There's somebody's job who's just like, we're gonna design an AFK system. It's like, which asshole is gonna take a piece of rubber, an oscillating fan, and like a bouncy ball, and make some Rube Goldberg machine out of staying non-AFK? And this is our fucking job. We wake up in the morning and we're like, oh man, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
To see what ways people are gonna fuck our shit up today.
Well,
all right. Last thoughts. 10 seconds.
Destiny's good. Come play.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. This season's actually a lot of fun from a story perspective as well. Like, they're getting some big
Give
reveals.
Bungie money.
Destiny time done.
Yeah. What are you saying, Dodger? You're muted.
Have I been muted since we came back from break?
That's correct. Yes. You have only been laughing, though. I also did message you and let you know.
Where? I have no messages from you.
In the VMix chat. Maybe I should DM next time instead of using the VMix chat, but yeah.
Unreal.
Anyways. It was just laughing.
Nothing to say.
Yeah, you don't have anything to add. So
I was so excited to talk about Destiny that I did not notice that. I'm so sorry.
No, Destiny's great. It's good.
All that I had said just now was your final thoughts were, it's good, come play. But mere seconds ago, you said, this isn't the sort of game you can just jump into. Now is not the time to jump in.
But there's never a time to jump into Destiny, is my point.
Correct.
There's never a good time. If people just wait for like the right time to jump in, there will never be a good time to jump in.
It's ongoing.
I don't like that.
It's always ongoing. Every week there's new stuff, which is why it's hard to jump into.
Basically, if you want to jump Destiny, find a friend that loves Destiny and play with them. That's how you get into Destiny. Yeah, there's no other way around it.
Yeah, it's true. Anyways, let's talk other video games. Dodger, I know you played. Now, it's not Kena, and I was very shocked to realize that that's not how you pronounce that game.
Kena, Bridge of Spirits.
Because no one corrected me over the course of 2 years since this game was announced. Did you play and finish this game, or did you just play?
I haven't finished it yet.
Okay,
no,
but you're going to.
I think I'm about halfway through. It's an incredible game. I do plan to finish it. Yeah. The way that, the way it looks is gorgeous. When you're like running around, everything, the movement, when you do like the double jump, everything just looks really beautiful and satisfying. There's kind of like this ethereal quality that totally matches up with a game where you're like, I'm basically only interacting with spirits. It just has like a very, I don't want to say that it's like wholesome and sweet and cute, because it does have those elements to it, but it also is a game that talks about like, about death and about like some dark things. So it's, I think, just like a really, really well done game. It has all kinds of like different things that you collect. You have all of these little what are called rot spirits that you gain throughout the game, and you use them for nearly everything. And the game literally has a currency that you only use to buy them cute hats.
Oh,
adorable. So yeah, it is just it has a lot of elements to it that are very satisfying. It has what's shown on the screen right now is like kind of sort of like a hub zone sort of thing, but it's a place that's overrun with this sort of corruption, and you can slowly like get rid of it, and that's just a very satisfying element to the game. So aside from it just being like really beautiful and feeling great to play, and the fighting feels really great, it just also has lots of these little elements to it that are really satisfying, that like ping something in your brain of like, yes, progress, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, it's great. I'm really excited to finish it, to be honest.
From like an animation side of things, I feel like this is just like a Pixar game, right? Like it's absurd.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The effects
Like
studio,
even
right?
just the way that her little
Yes, it
like
is.
bun bounces when you run. There's just so much that looks really nice in this game.
Yeah. This is Ember Spirit, I think, is the devs. Is that the dev
I
team?
don't remember, but it's their first game,
It
if I
is.
recall correctly.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
They were an animation studio prior to this. Ember Labs. There you go. Thank you, chat. They were an animation studio prior to this, and this is their first go at it, which, I mean,
it's 100% an art director game. Like this is made by somebody who wants to make things pretty first.
Yeah.
And
100%.
then a video game got added to it.
It's the animations, and I think in the cutscenes like are straight up out of a Pixar film from everything that I've seen. And even just like walking around is quite good, but you look at the actual cutscene, like this shit right here. It's like that's crazy.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And I do think that the way that it scales in difficulty, like where it starts and how it slowly gets harder and harder, I think is also really accessible, which is nice.
Yeah. It's about I think it's like a 9 or 11 hour game, so it's not super long.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to overstay its welcome or anything. How are you finding like the combat and stuff? Because I know a lot of people said it was not necessarily one note, but that it's fairly simplistic. They don't really do anything to like push that envelope. It's just, it's fine.
I mean, you can play it just doing the same thing you did at the start of the game. But the game definitely gives you alternate ways to fight, and also the enemies start to vary quite a bit.
Okay.
So the way that you tackle different enemies, you have to think about that a bit differently.
And then the boss fights I've also heard are they much more.
I didn't realize this was footage of me.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the footage that you're showing right now, and I was like, oh shit, I got stuck on that same spot trying to get those little fuckers to eat the fruit. And I just realized that it's because it's my footage. So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. We can skip ahead a little bit. Show some other areas. Yeah. Did you get to the first boss fight or one of the boss fights in the game?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How are those? I've heard those are like some of the best set pieces in the game. Would you, you agreed? Was it fine? How do you feel about it?
Yeah. I mean, if by set pieces you mean like how are they aesthetically?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely a different vibe to the like bigger fights. And part of that, for me at least, part of that is because of what the game is, and the fact that you're like, the game at the very start establishes you as sort of this like spirit guide. So the reason for the fights and the reasons for the bosses and all of that sort of stuff becomes like clearer as you play it, which adds like another level of like, oh shit, this is intense, which is cool.
Yeah. Some of the I have not played the game yet. I've only watched a handful of reviews and a little bit of gameplay, but that like waterfall or even the backdrop, the skyboxes just look ridiculous. Like
I thought that this game was just going to be pretty and that I wasn't going to get that into it, but it had so much about it that I really, really loved. So I'm excited to finish it. Yeah.
Yeah. Absurd that this is their first go at making a video game. Very much excited to see what they do in the future. Zeke, had you played this at all? I figured this was like right up your alley, but I don't know if you had played it yet.
No, I have not played it yet. It seemed like it was too
cutesy.
I know this sounds weird, but it seemed like it was too big to make it like to be on Indie Sunday. Like it seemed like it's too like large of a title. I think
most people are calling it double A if you want to get into that silly terminology. So yeah.
So it didn't feel like it fit the spirit of Indie Day, but it's one of those games that I don't know if I would enjoy it, but I'll tell you that my wife Katie, she just finished it, and she walked in. I was sitting here in my office playing Pathfinder or whatever. And I'm just sitting here chilling out. She walked in, and I hear her sniffling. I'm like, what is going on? She goes, I just finished the game, and it was really good, and it was really sad, and I need a hug. And I'm like, whoa, okay, sure, no problem.
It's not surprising to me.
Dude, she was super into it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. She spent more time than the average because she wanted to get all the things or whatever. She spent a lot of time searching for whatever it is, like the collectibles or what have you.
Yeah.
But yeah, she really enjoyed it. She had nothing but awesome things to say about it. I asked her if I would enjoy it, and she said, "Yeah, you probably would," because it's the cutesy factor. Like, there's I can take it, but there's only so much. You know, I have a limit as far as like how cute.
I mean, like even looking at the footage now, like there's a lot of the game that's like this sort of like aesthetically sort of this more corrupted element. It has a much more
it definitely looks
vibe.
like, because I definitely tend more towards like Horizon Zero Dawn than I do towards like more animated like Breath of the Wild stuff, you know, like as far as the aesthetic style, more realistic in an open world than exaggerated. But this looks, I mean, it looks really good. It doesn't look too exaggerated animation wise, but you're right. It's just this side of Pixar, I would say.
Yeah.
But it looks like something I might play, but is it engaging enough to keep you like?
I mean, it's not that long.
Can you describe the story of it? Like,
is it... you basically are trying to get to a specific shrine. Your father was a really talented and wonderful spirit guide, and you've inherited sort of like the things that he used for that job, and so you're a spirit guide now. So everybody that you interact with in this game is a spirit, is someone who's passed away. And you come upon, if you saw just a second ago, those two little kid spirits. And they say, yeah, we know where this shrine is that you're looking for, but we really need your help with something else first. And you find out that the spirit, their older brother's spirit, is missing. And so that's sort of the beginning of the game, is you go to the town that they used to live in, which is like a derelict town now because everybody who lived there is dead. But you can basically destroy the corruption that's in the town. That's like affecting the spirits there and stuff in hopes of getting to this shrine.
Is it fully voice acted?
It is.
Okay.
And the voices are really good.
That's a good thing. That's a check mark that I would.
Yeah.
In the good column for me, for sure.
Part of me wonders, and Rami, you might be able to probably tell me exactly what my answer is to the question, but part of me wonders, like, PlayStation obviously pushed this a lot of marketing. It showed up in a lot of their big events over the past couple of years. I wonder how much like extra funding or help they got in some of those departments from this, or if it was purely just like hey, we'll help market this game from you or for you.
It's hard to say which one it is, but even if they say like we'll help you market, like marketing has value, right? And for the amount of push they got, that's like $1 million in marketing or something. Like they didn't get $1 million per se, but they definitely got a lot of support on this game from Sony. Sony needed a game like this, right? They weren't going to have Horizon ready for now.
Yeah.
They needed sort of like an open world adventure game that sort of could speak to the imagination. It's a VFX studio. They do beautiful stuff. Sort of a no-brainer to push this really hard. But I don't know the specifics of the deal behind this one. They did an incredible job for a first run into game development. Yeah, wow,
pretty insane.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at their portfolio, their I don't know, demo reel or whatever, and it looks like they cut their teeth on animation, like for commercials and for ads and stuff like that, and it's all very, very well done.
Yeah, they made like some super internet famous Zelda animation.
Majora's Mask fan film. I'm seeing this right here.
Yeah, that was like, in everyone talking about it is like, oh yes, the guys that made the Majora's Mask thing. I never watched that, but apparently it's like very well made and very well beloved. So they pushed that a lot when this got out there from a marketing point of view. So it's cool to see it. It's also $40, so it's not even a full price. You can get in at the low cost of $40 on what is that? I think it's on like PS5, PS4,
it's
PC.
on PS4, PS5, and Epic Games Store currently. I think
Epic Games. Okay. Got it.
Oh yeah, they got lots of money.
That probably helped, I'm sure. Yeah.
That is the money list of things. If you want to get money, you do a console and Epic.
Right. Makes sense. Zeke, what have you been playing? What you outside of the Indie Sunday? What have you been up to?
I finished up Shadowrun Dragonfall. I played all the way through that.
Okay. Oh, I know what you've been playing. Condemned. I saw you playing this the other day.
Yeah.
This is actually a very fun game, but an old game. Are you playing the PC version?
Yeah, I played it on Steam.
Okay.
I'm not sure how updated the graphics are, but it seemed like pretty true to how it used to be. Maybe the resolution was a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But it didn't look like it cleaned up a whole lot.
I think it was first gen 3, or was it a 360 game?
360, yep.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
2005, I believe, is the official release date for that, and or 2006, maybe. But yeah, it's an older game, so it's 15 years old, and I played about an hour of it. 15 years ago when it was pretty new. And I was like, oh, this game's really cool. And I just never went back to it. I thought it was going to be a CSI game. Like, I thought it was going to be more like you go, like, every mission is like a new crime scene.
Right.
No. It is not.
It's like a horror
It starts
game.
off with a crime scene, and then it goes to FPS suspense thriller. Not necessarily horror, but like, yeah, more suspense. Like you're hunting the person who framed you for murder. And it turns out that spoilers for a 15-year-old game, but it turns out you're hunting a killer of killers, a serial killer of serial killers. And you find out that the killer is actually, he hunts down these serial killers and then he kills them in the fashion they killed other people. So it's kind of like a vigilante, like Dexter.
It's a Dexter type situation, yeah.
Yeah. And it's
so maybe just like
cool,
let him do his thing,
That's there's one of the funniest things in going through this game is like, I'm gonna find this killer, I'm gonna bring him to justice, but I'm gonna kill a bunch of homeless addicts on the way there. Like these. Granted, they are crazy and they're coming at you, but you kill a lot of people in very brutal ways on your way to like apprehend this killer, and you killed at least 5 times, if not 10 times as many people as this serial killer has.
I remember this game being discussed and how like brutal it is. And the second one, which I don't know if you have plans on playing, is even more so.
Eventually, yeah.
And a lot of people said that. I think that the second one's the better one, or at least the more memorable. Because I know of a certain entity in the second one that I like have watched playthroughs for specifically for that encounter. So yeah, I remember this game being talked about, but I've never actually played it myself.
There are some of the coolest and most like video game like moments that I enjoyed were they have a basic 4 styles of glory kill, so to speak. If you manage to get like an enemy down on the ground and they get up, or you manage to get them like on their knees, like facing in front of you, there's 4 ways you can like dispatch them. And there's the face smash, which is kind of like you just grab their face and like smash on the ground, like, oh no big deal. Then there's the whisper punch, which was one of my favorites, because you like lean in real quick and you go, I don't remember exactly what he says because it's not real clear, but he goes like, this is what you're gonna try back, and he goes, pa, and then just like decks him. But the by far the most like graphic one is like you look directly in their eyes and you just go snap, and you just like fucking snap their neck, and then they fall down. And
wait, so the whispering is just for flavor? It doesn't matter.
Nope.
It's so weird.
It's just badassery, like, or whatever.
It's a 360 game. Everything you're saying, I'm like, yeah, that's 360 era. Yep, that's a 360 game. Remember Gears of War? It came out around the same time as this. It's 360 game.
Oh my god.
Yeah. In case the Condemned Criminal Origins is the name of the game. And the thing that, all of that aside, like the biggest and best standout of this game was the sound design. It's I would put it up against any game that's come out since as far as immersion, how well it was recorded, how well it was done, the timing of it, the like how they used it and stuff. There are footsteps that will give you chills because you're in a house or whatever and you hear like a doom, 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 and it sounds exactly like you're in a house and someone went across the upper floor, like over your head. It was chilling how good it was.
Yeah.
Also, like the little things, the little details, like when someone's far away from you, it sounds like they're actually far away from you, which is hard to do. I would imagine in video games. And it's that's what mostly set the immersive mood of the game and made you feel like you were there, was the realistic sounds, especially with headphones. So good. So very well done.
You got to play the second one now. Like I need you to experience the scene that I know about in the second one. Because everything you just described, they like perfectly nail all of that in a like unbelievably scary fucking encounter. Like just a brutal encounter, which is very, very good. So the voice acting is also very good. Every line pretty much is voice acted except for, the little tidbits you pick up, little newspaper clippings or whatever you find. The ending, I will say, I was a little like, I'm not real sweet on the idea of supernatural shit like in a realistic game. Yeah.
Like we tie it up by saying, ooh, this magic, and you're like, no, I'm using technological tools the entire game. Don't wrap it up by saying it's some sort of fucking magic. Like all the visions and shit I'm having, can we just like rationalize that like in in a realistic fashion? Like say like, oh, I've had like these things all my life, or I am my brain is separated from reality in some way, or I got drugged or something like that. Don't just say like magic. I didn't really jibe with that, but it was okay. I mean, I wasn't super pissed, but it was just like, like the ending of Devil's Advocate, it kind of sticks in your craw. Just like, nah.
Right. Yeah.
But overall, fucking fantastic. I enjoyed it. I'm excited to play the second one at some point, although it is not on PC. Never got a PC release. So that's kind of shit.
Yeah. I think that was, didn't it get a remaster though for like Xbox One or something, or an updated graphics or something? There was something that happened.
I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it yet.
Yeah, I want to say there was something that they did with it to make it newer and or better looking. But I don't necessarily remember it looking bad back in the day. But yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like I don't mind if it's set up to be like magical all the way through. Like that doesn't bother me. If you introduce a character early on and they do unexplainable magic shit, that's fine. That becomes a running theme throughout, and that's totally cool. Yeah. But introducing it towards the end is kind of like, oh man, you're gonna Deus Ex Machina me?
Yeah.
Deus Ex Magica?
Deus Ex Magica!
God damn it, Rami.
I've been quiet for 20 minutes. I need to bang
that's
it
what
to
you
start it again.
You had all this time to think of something, and you enter back into the conversation with that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. Real quick, because a lot of people I think want to hear about New World. I finished up Tales of Arise. I think I've put 51 hours into that. It's a great JRPG. Yeah, Dodger's not muted.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, she's good.
I said some shit. Go back and read my lips. Are you a real gamer or not?
Yeah,
Continue.
That's true. What else can I say about Tales of Arise? I'll just echo what I said. If you like JRPGs, it is a great JRPG on a fantastic new engine that is UE4 that was fantastic from a graphics perspective all the way through. But if you don't like JRPGs, this one doesn't do anything to like change that. It's a JRPG through and through. It really is. So I enjoyed it greatly. But
you said you finished it.
I did. Yeah, 51 hours in. I dethroned a god. I even did all the JRPG tropes. We had like a foil to the character that very much looked like Sephiroth. It was all there.
Great.
It was all there. I got the weapon that ends the world. I got all of that.
Was there a pair of lovers and one of them died?
There were a pair of lovers, and I'm not going to say what happens to them. There was actually a pair. It was kind of interesting for a Tales game. At least, I mean, there's been like one or two others, but the two main characters were actually like romantically involved, and it's very strange because they don't really like hint it, and then towards the end, it's just like, oh, by the way, they're really romantically involved. And you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting for a Tales game to go that far. But in a lot of ways, I think the best way to if I had a headline, if I had a video game website where I wrote reviews, the headline would be "The Tales series grows up." That's what it would be, because all the people in the game are full-size humans, and the story definitely like grows up in themes for the most part, and it was fine. There's a lot of talking. I know that's probably the biggest thing, at least my chat experienced / left, because when you're fighting in that game, they all like to announce what they're doing, as well as having conversations on top of that that relate to the current state of the game. So you've got like one character with one voice actor saying like 3 to 4 things at once, multiplied by 4 to 6, potentially 7 if there's an enemy. One of the lines from one of the characters is literally blah, blah, blah magic when she casts magic. She usually like has some sort of magical conversation. If you start casting the right spells and you do it so much, they're just like blah, blah, blah magic. Like, oh, okay.
I think this is Zeke's. This seems like Zeke's
awareness,
review
I
of
guess.
Of Condemned as well.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Good.
It's also a very strong fucking spell.
The blah blah magic spell.
It is, yeah. It's a shooting star.
Very
There's a
good.
giant like sun that falls from the sky. It does light damage. Very strong. So yeah, that's Tales of Arise. Very short. Rami, you may ask a question.
Talk about some games.
You want to talk New World first? What? Yeah, we'll do New World later. So it's
okay.
The review is still in progress for me on New World. We'll start with that. But yeah, Rami, what have you been playing?
I was just getting really worried that we just had actually summarized my video games into Destiny again, because that would be a very Rami thing to happen. But
yeah, what do you got?
I've played a lot.
Yeah.
This last like few weeks, and a whole bunch of games that I really liked. I played Deathloop.
Okay.
Which I actually enjoyed more at the start than later on.
That game was, that Dodger, you played Deathloop, right?
Really? Yeah, I did.
That game was bizarre.
You could probably tell how I feel about it from my answer.
I don't think I've experienced the game.
Let Rami talk about it.
Well, I don't think I've seen a game that was like a 10 out of 10 critically fucking acclaimed as like one of the best games of the year. And then like streamers and friends of mine got it and they were just like, this is like kind of okay, right? Like it's
well, so for me, I'll just say this really fast and then we'll let Rami like actually give his opinions. But like for me, I know that one of the barriers of entry for me is that I don't play a lot of shooters and I don't enjoy a lot of shooters. And that's really what this game is a shooter in like the framework of a time loop game, right? But also I think at least at the start of the game, the pacing is super weird and not at all what I'm expecting from a game where like you're meant to find some satisfaction in the time loop. And it sort of like subverts that, at least at the start, in a way that I found frustrating. So I didn't I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to. So that's where I'm coming from with it.
Yeah. Rami, what do you think of Deathloop?
I think I'm the opposite way around. When I started it, I enjoyed it a lot. It had like a basic structure. Yeah, the pacing was kind of wonky, but every time you played, you kind of felt like something new was happening. And I kind of expected that to open up into a puzzle game where you're trying to figure out how to resolve this time loop. And instead, it felt more and more prescriptive as I went. Like, oh, I have to do this. I've got to do that. I have to do this and that in that order. And instead of feeling like a puzzle, it just felt like do this, then do that, then dispatch of this, then do that. And then strategy kind of goes out of the window over time because I'm just tired of getting the same 4 enemies at the start of my day every time. So I just run into them with a machete and see how much health I have at the end of that. And it comes to get. It feels like they should have had more confidence in what they were doing. And somewhere somebody got a little worried about whether it was too difficult or something. So they just kind of went like, okay, we'll guide you through this wonderful time. I'm like, no, give me what the hell and let me figure it out. It's quality stuff though. Like arcaned. Like the gameplay is great, the movement is great, the feeling of everything is great.
The vibe of the game is great.
Characters, oh my god, like just the 2 main characters sort of like bantering back and forth is incredible. Too much tension between those 2.
The AI is so stupid though, dude. Holy shit. I literally
Yes.
I literally tripped. Like I did a thing in the game and a voice shut. I'm trying to like keep it spoiler free, but like I did a thing in the game and a voice like blasted out over a megaphone like, you fucked up now, dude. We got you. We know right where you are. Everybody get him. No one showed up.
Yeah.
No one showed up. I just stood there like, okay, I guess I'll batten down the hatches. I'll just wait. No one showed up. And another time I stood right in front of an alarm by accident and then hid and heard one of the AI go, well, that's not my problem. That's all that happened. And I was like, what is going on in this game? Like, are there consequences? I can't tell.
Yeah.
I think that's wild. I think I was okay with that part because it is a sandbox kind of game and it's meant to kind of be janky and broken. So that I mean, my favorite time with these games is when the AI is supposed to do something smart and I just have time to run up to them and kick them off the building. Like
correct. Yeah.
That's quality. That's quality to me. But the AI wasn't very smart. I thought it was a well-made game. I enjoyed it. I felt at the start I was really excited to go back to it. Near the end, I was like, I'll finish it. That was not what I hoped to feel near the end. I played a game called Spookworld.
What's Spookworld?
Which is WarioWare, made by a bunch of indies that have 3 skeleton bros as the main character going on a road trip. That
sounds amazing.
Spookworld. And it's great. It is phenomenal. It is lovely and weird and strange and just very, very, very good. Yeah, that's 100% it.
Oh my god.
It is absolutely bonkers. And it's WarioWare, just if it was horror spooky.
Nice. That's great for Halloween.
I love it.
With a weird road trip in the middle.
Huh.
So can absolutely 100% recommend. There's nothing more to say about this. It's great.
Okay.
It's adorable. It's charming. You spend time chopping fingers off.
$13 on Steam.
Right.
I'm definitely.
Not
I wish listed it. Oh my god, they have like old like cutouts of like Nosferatu and like old movies and shit.
Yeah,
oh, that's fucking beautiful. That's awesome.
I played The Artful Escape.
Yeah.
Which falls very.
How'd you like your drugs?
You know what? This is a game. Everybody who is a creative in any way at all, who has had to struggle with the idea of like figuring out who you are in the context of other people having ideas of who you should be, this game was made for you, right? If you have never been through that journey, you will not enjoy it. It is straightforward. It's a very simple platformer. It does some interesting stuff, and there's some really smart gameplay. Really smart gameplay decisions in it, but most of the time you're walking to the right. That's really it. But if you've ever had that feeling of I don't know who I am, but I know I need to express, then the game is for you. It's like it's made to precision to shoot you in the heart and like make you have feelings. So
It's not
can
hard
really
for me.
recommend. Right. No, this I have genuinely like just sat and like put my controller down and been like, "Ooh, okay."
Did you
Feelings.
play all the way through it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
It's spacey.
I played about an hour and a half, I think hour and a half, 2 hours of it. It was a real slow start for me, and I think I said it could have benefited from cutting that first expositional part in half and jumping right to the Ziggy Stardust shit. You know?
Right. I do not disagree. The problem though is that it never speeds up. The game gets weirder, but it's slow. It's very methodical. It's beautiful. If you don't enjoy the sort of journey and the metaphor, it won't work for you. So I can't recommend this game, but I also
didn't mind it
will say
that
that you
it
should
was
play it.
like once it had stuff to hear and to look at and stuff like that, like that's fine. I don't mind if we take our time through that shit. But it's like through like the Mundy world, I was like, I don't care about this. I want to get to the bright colors and loud music.
I think it was kind of needed to get the colors to really pop. You needed to understand how this guy's world was so small and like not his world. But I get you.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
You have to know pain to know pleasure.
Amen. Also not amen, but in this case, yes. I played Beastbreaker, which is you play a tiny pinball mouse just destroying giant
that was
monsters.
on my list.
Cute.
Very good. Very
not
cute.
Okay.
The tiny mouse is adorable. It's the most adorable tiny mouse I've ever seen in a video game. And you fight giant monsters. It seems like a very simple game, but it has very, very good strategy, tactics. It has RPG elements. It has a great story. It's charming as can be. Yeah, the Beastbreaker's absolute recommendations. I'm playing it on the Switch, loving it. And then there's
a little bit of Beastbreaker.
Oh wait,
go ahead.
Show a bit of Beastbreaker.
Look.
Okay, look at this.
From the creator of Threes.
Look at this tiny mouse.
I know that guy.
This is the best mouse. And then he has a sword. No, this. I mean, so short. It's very good. It's very good. All the characters are adorable little creatures. Actually, Dodger game based on the
descriptions of earlier. Yeah.
Right. But yeah.
I think your connection's dropping.
Am I doing?
I love that sometimes Rami is gigantic.
Yeah, the camera likes to resize itself when the thing drops here. Should we give Rami, you want me to talk about New World while your stuff settles? You want to do that? Okay, he gives me a thumbs up. Great. New World came out yesterday. It's a hard game to give a review on. Because first off, it's an MMO if you didn't know. And second off, if you're watching on Twitch, you probably know everything about this game because I've said this 1,000 times yesterday during the stream. It's the literal like full arm, full body merchandise or marketing rather of Amazon games on Twitch, right? Like they have gone whole hog into this thing and are pushing it as hard as possible on this platform. And you know, it worked. They had 1 million people watching yesterday on Twitch. That's not like a literal 1 million people were watching this game on Twitch. I think it peaked at like 600,000 or 700,000 yesterday on Steam. So they have definitely sold some copies on day one and or pre-ordered a couple of copies of this on day one. The actual game is really strange. It is like if you took the most basic elements of what an MMO should have and you didn't refine the aspect of questing and player versus environment, and that's like the most bare bones thing that you could, but then you had a very verbose and like somewhat addicting crafting system and gathering system alongside of that, and then you put in a shit ton of social elements into it and put every imaginable hook that you could into Twitch as a platform as well. That's kind of New World, ultimately. There's things in this game where it's like it was quite literally made for Twitch. And I understand why. It's an Amazon Games property, right? Like of course they're going to do that. But it's also the type of thing where it's just a little bit strange to like see that. There's an option in the settings, for example, that you can turn on. So when you're walking around under or like next to your name, it says, it has like a Twitch logo, and then it has the number of viewers watching you while you're running around.
Oh, weird.
So like that's how crazy they got with this type of stuff. I have that turned off because that just seems a little bit insane to me. But it's in there. And you know, you can go anywhere on Twitch right now and you'll see New World. They are sponsored streams out the wazoo. There have been sponsored streams out the wazoo. The sponsor stream stuff, I think, is a conversation on its own entirely. When it comes to like how the drops and all that stuff have worked. But
yeah, not everybody got drops, right? Only
right,
like specific streamers.
Only like the specific, and this is a crazy number just in itself. There are 66 sponsored streamers, which I think are sponsored for more than a day. It is quite a lengthy sponsorship. They were also sponsored in like the open beta aspect of the game as well. Mine was just like a 5-hour, 1-day sponsorship. And I think that was kind of what most of the other sponsorships were outside of these like 66 streamers yesterday. But yeah, jumping back to the game, you're kind of always, you know, there's always something to have that instant gratification when it comes to like, oh, I can collect this, or oh, I can grab this, or oh, I can kill this. But like to jump to the questing aspect of stuff, it's quite possibly the most basic MMO I have ever played since the days of like maybe EverQuest or Dark Age of Camelot, right? Like I did the same quest 10 times yesterday, like the literal same quest 10 times yesterday.
What?
Like,
you know what this game is reminding me of? It's reminding me of these old Chinese and Korean MMOs. Like it has like a very hard like rappels and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like just basic, lots of items, content, like
yeah. But
I played one of those for a while.
On top of all this, there's like I said, there's the social aspect to this, which I think that they've done a fairly great job with. The way the game is structured and the way the game was initially thought of is that it's a PvP first game. And so you like load into the world, and the stories that you land on this new world, right? It's not conquered yet, but as time progresses on the servers, guilds or what are they? I forgot what they're called in game. The equivalent of guilds.
Like factions?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the equivalent of guilds within each faction can go and like claim a city. And then in the companies, thank you, chat. The companies within the game can claim a city for a certain amount of gold, which you can literally type / like give gold space player name, and you will just send gold to this player. Not with any relationship, you just send them gold. And so if you get 100,000 gold, which is a shit ton of gold, you can then capture a city. You can set the taxes, you can set like all this shit for the city, and then people can wage war on that city later on. But you can also like tax the other factions, because there's 3 factions in the game. So if you don't own a city, you get taxed to shit for being in there and like living and crafting and whatnot.
It's a very basic MMO with a little bit of EVE Online and then hooked into Twitch in every possible way.
Yes, that's a very astute way of very bare bones way of saying what it is. And it'll probably be wildly successful, I think, from all estimations, right? Like I played for 14 hours yesterday, which is, I don't take that as oh man, you must really like the game. You played it for 14 hours. It was launch day on an MMO. You walked
away in the video we're watching it. Like you just got up and left the chair. I don't know why I did that. You're just gone.
I'll just skip ahead. This is a 14-hour VOD, so we got a lot of footage. But yeah, like launch day MMOs, regardless of the MMO, you're generally going to have a pretty fun time, right? Like there's a lot of people in the world. It's just fun. That's like the best time to jump into an MMO. I think the big test for this game is, what does it look like a month from now? You know, how does this game function a month from now? What does it look like once all of the worlds get like populated and the actual PvP aspect of the game starts to take shape?
Things need to settle for a bit, don't they? Like,
they do
get a bit of a meta going, and
totally. And that's honestly like why it's hard to say. Like a lot of people are asking if the game's good. Well, aspects of it. I think the crafting and gathering aspect is super fun. I think the questing experience is absolute dog shit. Like it's the most bare bones system that I think you have to kind of do that system all the way to 60. I'm like 19 and a half now, or 20. And I think I'll just be doing, unless I go from town to town, which I think does change the quest somewhat, but there's still like the basic bare bones quest of like, go get some bear asses and bring them back to me type of scenario, which is fine, right? Like no MMO has really necessarily perfected that system. Ultimately, that's what they can all be boiled down to. The other thing, which I didn't really encounter, but I know is obviously a big pain point, but it's the lesser pain of two pains, to make up a silly term. The idea that like servers breaking and just having like overall downtime for MMOs is like an age-old story. Like Diablo 2 encountered that very story last week, right? Like it's something that has always been an issue for MMO launches. I felt like Amazon decided to go for a lesser pain in the sense that they only allow 2,000 people on a server at any given time. So some servers, if it's a streamer server that has, you know, a giant streamer, like 100,000 plus viewer streamer, have queues of like 15 to 20,000 people. And that's not that they're increasing the number of people on the server. It's that when someone logs out, it goes down to, you know, one less than 2,000. Then that gets bumped up one. So some of those queue times are like 30 hours or 40 hours to like get into the server, right? So if you log out, you're pretty much fucked. And I don't know if that stuff has been evened out. I think they added like 30 new servers to each region yesterday. I did not have a queue on our server. Granted, we did not promote or like discuss where our server was. And the folks playing on the server are, you know, they're not your 100,000 plus viewer streamers. So we don't necessarily have that inherent audience to kind of like take over the server in essence. But it's the type of thing where they're not going to get the stories written about the game where it's like, oh, this game's unplayable. It's that, oh, I can't necessarily play with my friends on the server that they started on. Or, oh, I have to sit in a queue to get onto this server. There's servers you can just jump into. And I think they also said, I didn't see the tweet. It was linked around in chat yesterday. I think they said like once things settle, they're going to allow people to shift around from server to server for like a one-time deal in a couple of weeks.
Right.
So that's a nice caveat if that's actually true. But
so if a bunch of buds all had to get split up, then they can say like, all right, let's all move to this server.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also the type of thing where I played for 14 hours. So I necessarily wasn't on Twitter, nor was I in queue to like, I woke up this morning and I did the show. So I haven't like read the headlines about this game. So there's probably some other shit that I like don't know that's happening out there on the internet when it comes to it. But I'm seeing things like, you know, there's still almost 300,000 people in queue in Europe, right? Like that's insane. But, you know, from an Amazon point of view, the story's not, oh, our servers are burning. It's, oh, I can't actually get into the game. Once you get into the game, I had zero issues yesterday, right? Like it was completely stable, which is, it's a different type of pain point on a MMO launch. So it's interesting.
I mean, it's funny. It's funny to hear the response to it though. Like I kind of missed the story. But it's funny what the difference is between you intentionally cannot play and the response to that and the server breaks.
Yeah.
This feels, the sentiment that I'm seeing sort of throughout is way more like, oh, well, I don't like that I can't play, but it's not like the servers are broken.
Right. It's a lesser pain point. It's honestly like some PR mastermind at Amazon like figured out how to do an MMO launch. You just let people sit in a queue.
I guess this will probably be the new standard then, because this is one of the hardest things to get right in terms of launches for server-based games. Is let's not make people be angry because they crashed out.
Totally. It's
let's not let players play. Fixed.
It's true. It's a very.
I'm gonna make an MMO. I'm launching an MMO tomorrow. Everybody's gonna be in queue.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's only a queue screen. That's the only thing in the game.
I mean, people would play it. People would play it. One of the funniest aspects of the sponsored, like when you do a sponsored stream for people outside of who aren't streamers, you guys know this. You'll get like a list of like guidelines essentially. And I was joking with Strippin yesterday in our DMs before we started. I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to sit in queue on the sponsored stream because like there's no way I'm going to get into the server till we change servers. The number one bullet point was you cannot sit in queue while sponsored to play this game. So like they knew right not to fucking do that. Which is pretty funny. I thought that was a pretty funny thing. Which totally makes sense, right? Like that from their point of view, of course, that makes sense. I get it. I understand. But yeah, I think that like my overall thoughts on it they're still taking shape. I still have to like figure out what the game actually is. And I think the game in a lot of ways still has to like figure out what it's going to be from like a social aspect. It seems
like it's reliant on like community economy and stuff like that.
Totally. The most fun I had with it was the crafting stuff, the gathering stuff, and the looking at names that people created throughout the day. You can put a lot of different characters in your name, and there were so many people playing that like some of the names you just came across were just like crazy. One of my favorites yesterday was the guy really wanted to use the name Jon Snow. And so he tried to make Jon Snow, clearly, just typing it out, didn't work. He tried to make Jon Snow using numbers in it, clearly, it didn't work. So then he took Jon Snow with numbers and Jon Snow with letters and mashed the two of them together. So it was like JO0HN 5SN0OW.
Amazing.
Nailed it.
To really like nail it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's also one another good one was Pacifist Me. That was just like one word. It's a good name. We got a couple of Bezos characters in our group, which is pretty good. K Bussy was also a pretty good name. I thought that was very funny. But they're just kind of all over the place. And you also have people, the other aspect of it, it's a social game, right? So there is like coordination amongst the factions. And so with that comes the idea of you get the people that type in all caps that are like, guys, send me all the gold. I'm 22K away from being able to capture this fort. Send me gold. And then they just become that. And they constantly, like that person was spamming this morning when I woke up. And that was online yesterday at like 4 p.m. doing the same exact thing. And they had gained like 10,000 gold from people sending them gold. So it's clearly working.
I have to say, if you launch a game and you're Amazon, and the thing people are excitedly talking about the next day is the fact that somebody made a Jon Snow username. I feel like there's some progress to be made in the game. Like, it feels like it's young.
Yeah. I mean, it's also the type of thing I think from my point of view, the audience already knows like what an MMO is. So I don't need to like, you go and kill things. And then when you kill things, you get experience. And that's how the game, like, I don't need to like work on that and explain and to the audience how that works in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And then the other stuff I just haven't messed with. I don't know a lot of the systems. I'm still kind of figuring all that stuff out. So
is there like end game stuff or is this it?
There's like 5 or 6 dungeons. It's 1 to 60 is the level cap. There's an open world boss that I know of. The end game is mostly PvP from what I can tell. But but I don't know necessarily because I'm so far from it. I will say this: the worst, and I mean the literal worst thing about the game is the UI. It is like someone described it, and I don't necessarily want this to like go into the storyline of that. It's an Amazon made game, so of course it's going to feel this way. But someone described it as like a corporate UI, and I really do feel it's a corporate UI. Like it has all the things that you want, but an artist didn't really have like a pass on that necessarily, or like a ton of passes on that. So it's just kind of like all there.
Somebody from data entry going like, it has all the information you need. Right. It has everything on there.
Yeah. Like here's a perfect example.
It doesn't look good. It has the info. That's all you need.
Here's a perfect example. We've all played MMOs or online games where it's like, hey, we got to take the servers down. We're going to message all the players in game. You get a message that like maybe pops up and it tells you like every 5 minutes or something in increments of 5 minutes that its servers are going down. This is what Amazon decided to do. They put a bar at the bottom over your XP bar. So you can't actually like look at your XP bar. And it was there.
I've seen indies do this better.
It is a solid hour. And like, come on. Like, why is that the case?
Now, is it UI people like do different, like, are there different assignments? Do they talk to each other? I'm just wondering because
I'm sure,
like I'm having the same complaint I've had of Pathfinder is very similar to this.
Yeah.
It's like, move the fucking thing aside so I can see what the fuck is going on underneath it. That's the important shit.
I mean, I'm not a UI designer, but I will say like UX people have one of the hardest jobs in the world for any type of design, from a website to a video game to an app. Like all of that's just a nightmare.
My feeling is that this message at the bottom did not get a UI pass at all.
Right.
I think this is a programmer. Like, I would not be surprised if that's just the programmer being like, hey, if the server goes down, we should put a message at the bottom of the screen. And it probably just ended up there. Because it's not even clear. Like, this, you can't confirm that people have seen it. I don't think this had a UI pass. This is a programmer. This is me doing UI.
I'm realizing it now too. There's a pulse to it. I didn't realize there was a pulse going on. So it's kind of like they went for the eye grabby approach of putting a pulse on top.
That's the thing. Like,
but you didn't even notice it while playing it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Anybody who does UI knows that when it's extremely obnoxious, that's when 90% of people won't see it. Right. Like, if you want this message to be seen by people, it needs to be. You've played Destiny, right? The super available message when you have your super. That is literally in giant letters on the middle of the screen and nobody notices it.
Right.
Literally nobody notices it. They could have put this over the crosshair and you would have likely not noticed it. Like, UI is wild. The pulse there, that does nothing. Yeah. They could have made it like, it could have been disco colors.
Yeah.
Nobody would have noticed.
It's it's an interesting game. Like I said, I'm curious to see what it looks like a month from now. From like a streamer perspective, the drop feature is working great. The marketing budget for this game has to be like multiple millions upon millions of dollars just for the sponsored streams alone, just for like the Twitch push alone. What are we gonna say, Zeke?
No, I was talking in regards to the UI. There was a sketch. I don't remember if it was like Mad TV or SNL or something, but it's a little older. But what the actors were doing in the scene was not the focus. The focus was like the lower thirds of like shoving buddies, and it was like showing them like shoving each other, like New Wednesdays on Fox or whatever. It's like that was the whole scene. And I'm wondering if that's what they need to do with the UI. It's like it's gotta have like some people like dancing or some motion, like like waving their fucking arms.
I mean,
I'm not a streamer.
It's Family Guy. There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what were you say, Rami?
No. Let's Dodger was first.
Oh.
All I was gonna say is, like, to me, isn't it always better to have something that a person has to click, like, instead of it just like sitting there? Isn't it better to have something with a button,
a confirmation,
where you have to, like, sure, maybe you just clicked the button and didn't read it, but like that's your damn fault. You know, you still had to click the button. So
Yep.
Being able to
You
make
have
it
to
go
use that
away
sparingly,
would
though.
also be good.
Yeah.
You do too many button clicks,
how-
they're gonna stop reading.
It's true.
You got to do it when you absolutely need it.
How do all of you feel? Because I'm not a streamer, right? This is not my. How do y'all feel about Amazon effectively sponsoring you with the cut they take from you anyway?
So that exact conversation happened yesterday during our stream because it in a lot of ways it is like a self-fulfilling sponsor, right? Where if you think about the cut that they take from subs, that probably went, if you not necessarily directly, but like it could be, the argument is there that it's like, oh yeah, that's where the sponsorship money came from.
Yeah, I was wondering how you would feel about that because I'd feel a little weird about it. Be like, thanks for giving my money back.
Yeah, it's a little
hours
it's
of playing
weird.
your game.
I mean, if you really want to get down to it, it is. There's a lot of chat commentary that Amazon created a game where you can tax people,
right,
in it. When like Amazon is, right.
If you have enough money, you can take over an entire small town of people.
Yeah, and then tax them. Correct.
Very aspirational.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. I gave you this bread last week, and you're giving it back to me. Like I had a loaf of bread, and you took and you're giving this. All right.
Sure. Yeah. Dodger, what were you gonna say? Hit your hand.
I was gonna say since we only have a couple minutes left, can I rapid fire suggest a couple games?
Yeah, by all means.
I have one more.
Okay.
Okay.
So Pawnbarian. Go play Pawnbarian. It's a game. It's like a logic puzzle game that's sort of a deck builder, but your deck is chess pieces, and there are 3 different classes, and each class utilizes the chess pieces differently, and you figure out how to like kill all of the enemies that way. Very, very fun. I've been playing that in my off time a lot. Another one that's like kind of similar to that is Poker Quest. Poker Quest is a
Pawnbarian.
Yes.
Worth mentioning. Yes. Free demo, downloadable demo.
Free demo
on Steam.
Yep. Poker Quest is very good. It didn't just come out like Pawnbarian did, but it's like Slay the Spire style sort of deck builder again. But in this one, the deck is like a normal deck of cards, like that you would play poker with. And there are lots of different classes that each use the different poker cards differently in order to utilize items that they have. So it'll be things like you have a sword, but the only way you can use the sword is if you have like 2 pair, that kind of a thing. So that game is really fun. Poker Quest.
Okay.
That game is really, really fun, and it gets really hard. Like as you unlock more classes, each class requires like a lot more thinking and planning. And that one's really, really cool because you can play it as kind of a roguelite or a roguelike. So you can either play it with like persistent upgrades, or you can play it in a way where there's no upgrades at all, and you always start from 0. So that's pretty awesome to have that option there. And then I don't know if you guys have talked about this game before, but Tales of Iron is also very good.
About it. I think Zeke, actually, we did talk about it. Yeah.
Tales of Iron, really enjoyed that game as well. So
awesome. Rami, what's your
did you finish Tales of Iron?
Oh,
did you finish Tales of Iron?
I haven't finished it yet. No.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, final game for me was a game that I have a lot of feelings about. It's called Opus, Echo of Starsong. It is made by Taiwanese dev that has made this Opus series for years. It's a quite popular series out in Asia. They are incredible games. They have been completely and utterly ignored by all Western media, pretty much just fully, to the point where yesterday was the first time they get a Metacritic. They got the 4 reviews they needed to have a Metacritic. Guess what the Metacritic was?
100?
91.
Pretty good.
This is one of the better games of the year. I think it is gorgeous. It is beautiful. It is sort of a side-scrolling exploration game about sad story, melancholic, beautiful, sci-fi, fantasy, love, trust, betrayal, friendship, space exploration. Everything. It's all the good things It is gorgeous. It has so much style and atmosphere and heart. I can't believe it didn't get more attention. I am incredibly
How
sad that it didn't get
anime?
more attention.
On a scale of 1 to
Not
10.
anime. Not
Okay.
not anime. Don't think anime. Think like sincere, melancholic, heart-rending, heartwarming. Um, more towards like a deep cut Final Fantasy sort of world than a like Dragon Ball Z kind of thing. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game.
Yeah, it's
Should
97% overwhelmingly positive on Steam with
Yeah, I was just looking at
1,700
that.
reviews. So doing something right.
incredible video game, and really should have gotten more attention everywhere. The devs have been trying to break through into the Western market for like 7 years since I met them. Like that was the first conversation I had with them. Seeing them get a little bit of momentum in the Western market has been incredible, but they deserve so much better. Like a 91 game should not be sitting at 4 Metacritics and 1,700 like reviews. Like
Yeah.
Are they modular games, or do you need to play the other ones to appreciate the new ones?
You can play the other ones, but it's not needed to play this one. Every story is about it's about humans, right? It's about people, and it's about their story. So
yeah,
so kind of like Final Fantasy, in that like maybe they make reference, but it's not important.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's one of the reviews on the Steam page has a couple of games there that I think chat will resonate with. They said, like Your Name, it is an utterly spellbinding, and like To the Moon, it is an absolute tearjerker. More than it is about finding one's true self, the game explores the meaning of love and soul, translated from a Chinese Steam curator.
Right. Yeah. Just gorgeous. I cried a lot.
Yeah.
Cool.
Looks like a winner.
Strong men also cry, Rami. Strong men.
I know. I cry.
Crazy. Cool. Zeke, any games you want to rattle off real quick? Or we can
No, I
save
don't like
them.
video games.
We could save them as well.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, that's fine. No, we can definitely save it.
Okay. All right.
There's a couple that I would like to talk about, but
cool. Let's save it for next week then.
I can wait. Yep.
We'll do some shoutouts here and call it a dropped frame. Zeke, you want to do some shoutouts for us instead?
You bet.
What do you got going on?
Well, what do I got going on? Well, I'm in the middle of playing Unmetal, which just released. Love to talk about it after we get a little bit further in the game. Shouldn't take more than 1 or 2 more streams.
Nice.
Probably 2. But so that's what I'm doing right now as my main game. But after drop frames on Wednesdays, and for every Wednesday for the next 4 weeks, well, this one and 3 more, I'm going to be checking out the Castlevania Advanced Collection sponsored streams. We're going to be playing one game every one of the 4 every Wednesday for the next 4, and we're going to be starting with Dracula X shortly after drop frames wraps up, and then we'll play the other 3 coming up, and then tomorrow we're doing another weekly 4 Thursday sponsor thing for NVIDIA Now, the new cloud gaming service that I'm sure has many many similarities to other things you may have heard. But we're doing that, and then starting Thursdays with a couple hours of that, and then going back to the Unmetal this tomorrow. That's what's coming up for me. Oh, and also after Unmetal's finished, guess what we got working on my PlayStation PS TV? Parasite fucking Eve.
Oh,
is what we're gonna be.
Nice.
That's
our next old game that we're gonna be checking out after Unmetal is done. So yeah, lots of fun stuff coming up. So thank you. Oh, god damn it. Thank you, Rami. Thank you, Dodger. Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
Man, it went by so fast. You guys are just so wonderful to talk to and hang out with. And thanks, JP, for being, you're the co-host with.
Rami, do some shout outs. Where can people check you out? What do you got going on?
I make video games. Check me out, THA_Rami on Twitter. I don't know. Congratulations to Dodger for winning the brackets thing.
Oh, thank you.
True. She won.
Go play.
Wait, so hold on.
Opus.
Does that officially mean that Dodger replaced Co and Rami was the guest?
I was the guest.
I forgot that was
in the shame box.
I'm pretty sure we're both guests.
They were both in the shame box.
One of us has to be Cole.
really?
And
Okay.
you're just more code on me.
There you go.
That's very sweet. It's because I have a kid, isn't it?
Probably the case. Yeah, probably. Dodger, do some shoutouts. Where can people check you out?
Hi everybody, I'm Dodger. You can find me at Dex Bonus on pretty much everything. I've switched up my streaming style. Pretty much every stream starts with just hanging out with a cup of coffee and chatting, and then we play a different game every day. So this is my way of getting through all the stuff that I feel like just passes me by and I don't get to play it. I at least get to play it once. So lots of variety, lots of just chilling. Thank you JP and Zeke for having me on, and Rami for coming on with me. And yeah, it was very fun. Thanks guys.
Cool. That's it. We're done. I can't believe we spent almost 45 minutes on that IGN thing. That was either a really good idea or a really bad idea. And
that was a blast.
Okay, it was
good. I
good.
thought that was fun.
All right.
I had a great time just dunking on IGN audiences. It was great.
There you go.
Let's do it more. As a game developer, warms my heart.
Look, I'm just glad I get a little confirmation bias. Doesn't happen too often, but God of War, best game of all time. That's all I'm saying.
Oh God, get the.
That's gonna do it. Thanks for you don't agree. What's a better game than God of War? Rami, tell me.
I will fight you. If
you say
thanks for watching, everybody. So long, goodbye.
No more. We'll
see you next week. Me and Zeke will be back. We'll figure out who else is going to be here with us between now and then. Check us out on socials, and we'll let you know who that will be. We're out.
You bet.
Bye-bye.